Irish guy, and right. So the January transfer window is upon us, and your club is moving strange. I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club and find each team's transfer rumour that just doesn't make sense. Your club targeting these players, when I try to wrap my brain around it, I just get severe migraines in my head. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Mykhailo Mudryk. I've always said it. If Arsenal choose to pay £88 million for Mykhailo Mudryk, some unproven child in the Shakhtar Donetsk left wing, then it'll be a panic buy so ridiculous that Mikel Arteta should agree to enroll as a circus clown. I've already said it. Mudryk has just turned 22. He's not the prodigal wonder kid that everyone thinks. I mean, this guy's older than Bukayo Saka, and yet done nothing in the game. He didn't even make the Ukraine squad for Euro 2020. If Arsenal choose to make this guy the 10th most expensive footballer of all time, then no! The accountants at the Emirates are probably about as clever as a bowl of mashed banana. Sure, he's probably a decent player, but for the money Shakhtar wants, I mean, it's like me popping down Greg's. Sure, I'm hungry, but the minute the guy behind the till tells me to pay £50 for a sausage roll, no, I'm running out the door. Aston Villa, Alex Moreno. This makes absolutely no sense. I know Unai Emery wants his own players through the door, but this is so unnecessary. Aston Villa are going to type a £15 million deal for Real Betis left back Alex Moreno. I'm sorry, but for all the problems in this Villa team, left back is not one of them. They've already got Luca Digne, the guy who they signed from Everton last January. I mean, it's not as if Moreno is some up-and-coming world-class wonder kid. No. He's older than Digne. Both of them turned 30 in the summer. So honestly, Emery, what is the point? Sure, Moreno once spent a year in the Barcelona academy. Great. Digne played nearly 50 games for the first team. He's got 46 caps for France. Moreno, not even an under-21 call-up for Spain. Lads, even Marc Cucurella has played for Spain at left back, and I think we can all see that he's about as competent as defending as a hamster with menstrual cramps. I know Emery is that guy who always loves to have someone called Moreno at left back, but don't forget, even Alberto Moreno, while in the Premier League, was just a clumsy Bournemouth West Ham McKennie. Listen, I appreciate the ambition, I suppose, but come on, why did Bournemouth even try to pick up the phone to ring West Ham McKennie? This is a 24-year-old USA international midfielder who's been on the books of Juventus for 3 years. Do you really think this fellow is ever going to positively respond to a phone call from Gary O'Neill? Bournemouth need players, yes, but targeting footballers so far out of your league, it's just a waste of valuable time. I mean, it'd be like me as a 12-year-old boy asking Santa Claus for a hug off my mum. Yeah, there's more chance of me doing a waltz with the snowman on the porch. Brighton, Rodrigo de Paul. For the same reason as Bournemouth, this transfer rumour, even reading this, it feels like I've just scratched on my eye with a fork. This honestly makes no sense. Rodrigo de Paul is a 28-year-old Atletico Madrid midfielder who's just won the actual World Cup, playing in midfield for Argentina. I mean, right now, Brighton and Hove Albion are already clinging on to one World Cup winner, Alice McAllister. Honestly, such is the interest in this playmaker right now, I'm guessing Roberto De Zerbi is tempted to just tie this guy to a mattress in the attic until February the 1st. So if Brighton are struggling to hold on to him, why waste energy in trying to convince a European superstar like De Paul to join your club? You've got no chance of getting this guy. Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez. Transfers with zero forward planning usually make the club look about as desperate as a divorcee down the pub. And I'm sorry, but Chelsea, I know Enzo Fernandez is a talented midfielder and just one young player of the tournament as Argentina won the World Cup. He would be a good signing, sure. But if you actually pay over £100 million to Benfica for this guy, when you could have just snapped him up from River Plate in June for just £8 million, this is going to expose your scouts for having the intelligence of burnt cauliflower. You're essentially admitting you didn't have a clue who Fernandez was 7 months ago, and now you're prepared to commit a club record fee to sign him after just 14 games in the Portuguese league. Do you know how nutty all this sounds? £8 million. That's all he would have cost in June. And yet you instead chose to pay more for Carney Chukwuemeka from Aston Villa, who, to be fair, looks a decent player, but still, £105 million for Enzo Fernandez. That makes the Chelsea board look like a reactionary bunch of clowns who belong in Sesame Street. Crystal Palace, Sasha Boy. Who? Everton, Danny Ings. Listen, Everton need a goal scorer like Danny Ings in their team, sure, but this transfer bid makes Frank Lampard look so naive, yet Sweaty still writes letters to the Tooth Fairy. A loan, an actual loan offer for Danny Ings. Did they really think Aston Villa would accept? They're not gonna just let you borrow a guy who they paid £25 million for just 18 months ago. Not to mention, we've already seen how Everton fans reacted to having a former Liverpool coach and Rafa Benitez in the dugout. To them, they tolerated him the same way you'd tolerate a diseased rodent living in your fridge. So similarly, is it really wise to try and target a guy who literally spent nearly half a decade at Anfield? Do they really think it's clever, in the middle of a relegation battle, to get the fans on side by buying Liverpool flops? Guys who were at Liverpool when they reached the final of the Champions League? The whole transfer looks a bit of a mess. Fulham, Rick Karsdorp. Listen, Fulham are a team who've managed to make Willian look good. So clearly Marco Silva is having luck with his transfer buys, but still. Wanting to buy 27-year-old Dutch right back Rick Karsdorp from Roma. I don't know much about him as a player, but this is what Jose Mourinho thinks of him as a man.
It was a team that wanted to win against a tough opponent. I'm sorry that the efforts of the team were portrayed by the attitude of one unprofessional player. I had 16 players on the pitch today. I like the attitude of 15 of them. The other player, I won't say who it is. I didn't like it, I said so. He betrayed everyone else's effort. In January, he needs to find himself another club.
Yeah, Mourinho essentially thinks that this guy is a treacherous rat. Essentially, Roma's very own Peter Pettigrew. Is he really? Really the sort of character you want at Fulham FC? Leeds Adama Traore. Yeah, so Leeds want Adama Traore from Wolves. Yeah, this time last year, this fellow was signing for Barcelona. I think offering him the chance to instead then move to Ellen Road would be so underwhelming you might get sick in his mouth. Listen, on one hand, Traore is a useful player and could be a quality Leeds buy, but Jesse Marsh has already given up on one speed merchant zero end product. Ozzy even mentioned the word Daniel James to the Americans, and I'd be like offering a chunk of cow to a vegan snob. Traore is just another James, full of energy, lightning quick, and unlike James, who looks a bit like a nerdy bookworm who watches The Devil Wears Prada every night before bed. No, Traore actually has strength in his limbs, but still, he netted 22 league goals in nearly 300 games. He's a winger who used to even frustrate the Middlesbrough fans, and those poor lads are probably getting excited about discovering a half-eaten sandwich in a bin. Honestly, Marsh dumping James and choosing Traore, it makes no sense. Leicester Azzedine Ounahi. Well, it didn't take long for Premier League clubs to start buzzing around Azzedine Ounahi, a 22-year-old star in Morocco's midfield, but I'm sorry, isn't he just blatantly a one-tournament wonder? You can almost smell the stink of him just being a World Cup star for a month. And that's it. As someone who goes on to have the career on par with Lee Cattermole, yes, I know he was great at guitar, but Leicester City don't rush out to buy a guy who's just spent 18 months in Angers midfield and who nobody really noticed. He's currently sitting rock bottom of League One for a team who won 2 games all season. Before the World Cup, they just lost 7 games in a row. Is that really the sort of player you want to be peeling off the floor? Someone who's used to losing every week? Trust me, he's a one-tournament wonder. Don't take the bait. Honestly, Leicester. Liverpool and Matheus Nunes. Remember what I said about reactionary transfers? Making football clubs look about as desperate as Mrs. Doubtfire? Whenever a club buys a player 6 months after his previous transfer, it always looks a bit sad. Matheus Nunes is a 24-year-old talented midfielder for Portugal, even though he was born and raised in Brazil until he was 12. Honestly, the guy's just another deco. Too scared of the challenge of trying to crack the current Brazil midfield, but still, he was available in the summer when Wolves snapped him up for £38 million from Sporting Lisbon. If Liverpool really wanted this guy, they should have signed him then and there. Don't instead let him move to Molineux and sign a 5-year deal before you decide that you want him too. Trying to swoop in after just 15 games in a Wolves shirt. It makes no financial sense. He's on a contract until 2027. The Wolves board will clearly make Liverpool pay through the nose. I mean, sure, the Reds want him to be their modern-day Javier Mascherano, who, yeah, did join West Ham in the summer of 2006 before moving to Anfield in January. But it's a bit different. Back then, Alan Pardew quickly made up his mind that Mascherano was about as much use as muffins made from mud. He was happy to get rid and instead just pick Nigel Real Coker every week. Oh, Alan, was that the first signs of early dementia? But does anyone really think that Wolves will be happy to wave goodbye to Nunes now? No! Man City Ferland Mendy. Oh, this really does not look good. Right now, according to reports in Spain, Man City are weighing up a move for Real Madrid ace Ferland Mendy. Listen, he's a good player and Champions League winner, sure, but this isn't even a footballing decision. Does anyone really think that it's a good look for City in 2023 to have a Frenchman called Mendy at left back? I mean, do you really think any City fan wants to get his name on the back of their shirt? Does any commentator really want to be talking about how well Mendy is defending for Man City? No, it'd be like a football club picking someone called Ted Bundy on the wing. This means that Man City will officially be paying the wages of 2 left backs called Mendy. No, just no! Honestly, if this transfer happens, it'll just be so very creepy. I'd be like dating someone who's got the same name as your mum. Man United Vincent Aboubakar. I thought Manchester United were done with the Odin Igalo panic buys. Evidently not. They've just seen Cristiano Ronaldo waltz off to Al Nassr and they're choosing to replace him by buying his teammate, Vincent Aboubakar. Forget the fact he looks like a 65-year-old man. He was an African Nations Cup star with Cameroon last year. Yeah, but he's a 30-year-old striker playing in Saudi Arabia. 2 years ago, he's playing up front for Besiktas. You know, the same retirement village who employed Dele Alli. The best league Aboubakar has ever played in was League One with France 7 years ago. This is the type of moldy ham sandwich transfer that a team like Everton would make. But Everton Ag, this is your very own Igalo buy. Just a hideously out of his depth centre forward, dragged in from an expensive retirement home. Just no, I would expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to make transfers like this. but not Ten Hag. If this transfer happens, it'll be an absolute joke. And not even a funny joke. No. A Michael McIntyre joke. Newcastle Ilan Melier. What is this? Ilan Melier is a talented goalkeeping child at Ellen Road, sure. Despite the fact that he looks like he won't hit puberty until he's 45. But still, I might understand the transfer links to Chelsea. But Newcastle United? Have the journalists just spent the month drinking wine up their nose? Newcastle have too many goalies right now. Nick Pope is the untouchable number 1. Then they've got Martin Dubravka sitting on the bench. Then Loris Karius, a Champions League finalist, let's not forget, is now an embarrassing number 3. Carl Darno, 2 years ago. And the Newcastle fans wanted him in the England squad for the Euro 2020. Yeah. He's now a 4th choice goalkeeper. And 5th choice goalies are usually reserved for 17-year-old children whose mum still packs their lunch. No. Newcastle's 5th choice is Mark Gillespie. Yeah. He's 30 years old. Newcastle do have a talented teenage goalie coming through. Highly rated youngster Jude Smith. Yeah. He's 6th in the pecking order. He's got about as much chance as playing for Newcastle as I do of giving birth to a cat. So Eddie Howe wanted to buy Leeds number 1. To do what? Just spend 9 months doing nothing but eating cookies and ironing the corner flag? Nottingham Forest, Mason Holgate. Nottingham Forest, they're like that alcoholic who can't put down a drink. The last thing they need to do is sign more players in January. No. Steve Cooper has finally settled on picking the same starting 11 for 2 games in a row. So just use the footballers you have. Forest have actually started to come good. Don't go out there and suddenly buy Mason Holgate from Everton. The guy's not a child anymore. He's nearly 27 years of age, has never really been a trusted starter at Goodison Park. In fact, most times he's played, he's looked shakier than a pensioner's walking stick. Ozzy Forest, stay away. He's championship quality. Southampton, Michael Keane. Yeah, exact same situation here. Southampton, bottom of the league Southampton. Need to shore up their defence, yes, but a loan deal for unwanted Everton misfit Michael Keane? Yes, he's a former England international, but at 29, his confidence must be soaking through the bathroom floor. Yes, once upon a time, this guy was on the verge of a return to Man United and deemed a promising prospect for England, but he's since lost his place at Everton after mostly looking like a £30 million flop for years. Lampard clearly trusts him the same way you trust a bus driver that stinks of beer. So yeah, I'm guessing that right now Keane has got less self-belief than Shrek on Tinder. So yeah, Nathan Jones, leave Keane where he is. Honestly, if you're looking for a centre back, I'd sooner be buying Shane Duffy than I would Michael Keane. Tottenham, Anthony Gordon. Yeah, apparently Tottenham still wants Anthony Gordon. You know, that overrated Everton boy who looks like he sleeps in a bin outside Burger King? Listen, the kid's got a bit of skill, hunger and drive, but still. Aside from a purple patch of goal scoring form around those time that he was linked with Chelsea, Gordon has just got a weak end product. Honestly, to me, Demarai Gray is Everton's goal threat, not this 22-year-old lollipop. West Ham, Harry Souttar. Remember what I said about Unai being a one-tournament miracle? Yeah, West Ham, don't even think about buying Australia's World Cup star Harry Souttar. Yeah, he was a solid centre-back in Qatar, but he's also been on the books of Stoke City for nearly 7 years, and nobody's bothered to care. He's got nearly 70 appearances under his belt for Stoke, and he was only involved in 2 wins in 2022. He's coming off the back of an injury-hit year where he barely played, so on what planet does he merit a move to West Ham? Wolves marry Lamina. Is this a joke? Wolves are absolutely obsessed with buying Mario Lamina from Nice. They're about to stick in their 3rd bid. He's not even that good. Sure, why is at Southampton? He was once linked with Manchester United, but relax. It was the same summer they agreed to pay nearly £90 million for Harry Maguire. Lamina is a sluggish Asian midfielder who's recently been banished on loan to Galatasaray, the graveyard for careers, so asking him to play for Wolves, he's not even Portuguese. Anyway, that's one. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is the weirdest transfer rumor that your club has this month? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.